This is One Sentence News, a daily podcast featuring 3 news stories with a sentence-long summary and 1 sentence of context apiece. I'm Colin Wright. It's Tuesday, November 30th, 2021. Let's talk about the news. From BBC News, UAE general accused of torture elected Interpol president. A general from the United Arab Emirates has been elected to the role of president of Interpol, and this is raising eyebrows and concerns as he has been accused of complicity in torture. These accusations stem from his failure to investigate credible claims of torture against the UAE security forces he oversaw, though some complaints about his ascension are related to the UAE more broadly, which is considered by international human rights organizations to be anti-human rights based on their policies and actions, which include arresting, torturing, and imprisoning human rights activists, allegations he and the leaders of the UAE deny. From the Wall Street Journal, CDC says everyone 18 and older should get COVID booster due to Omicron variant. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control has changed its language related to COVID vaccine boosters from saying they were an option to recommending them for everyone 18 and older, now that the Omicron variant is being worked into public policy math, and every last drop of immunity potential is being leveraged against a variant that is suspected, though not yet confirmed, to have a greater ability to dodge some of that immunity. This is probably going to be one of the major headlines every day until we know for sure whether Omicron will be a disaster or a dud. But the significance of this change in policy is broad, as more boosters in the U.S. and likely other wealthy countries as well may mean fewer primary doses in poorer countries, at least in the immediate future, which in turn may reinforce the mechanisms that helped birth Omicron in the first place. Namely, large groups of people who lack immunity anywhere on the planet can serve as hotbeds of mutation potential, and those mutations can then spread elsewhere, in some cases, eventually overwhelming the defenses that were built up in those wealthier places. And from Bloomberg, Jack Dorsey steps down as Twitter CEO, replaced by CTO Parag Agrawal. Twitter co-founder and CEO Jack Dorsey has announced he has stepped down as head of the company and will be handing the reins to Twitter CTO Parag Agrawal. This is interesting news in part because of how influential Twitter is on public discourse, including, but not limited to, politics and journalism, and for what it might mean for the future of the network as it goes through a period of relatively, compared to past years at least, rapid experimentation and iteration, and as one of the people most responsible for some of those new efforts steps into the role of CEO. If you're finding some value in One Sentence News, consider leaving a quick review wherever you get your podcasts and/or sharing the show with a friend. You can find out more about this show or subscribe to the email version at onesentencenews.com, and you can support this and other related projects like the Let's Know Things and Brain Lenses podcasts at understandery.com.